Good morning, guys. Matthew 15:10 through 20. And he called the people to him and said to them, "Hear and understand. It is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of the mouth that defiles a person." Then the disciples came and said to him, "Do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard this saying?" He answered them, "Every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be rooted up. Let them alone. They are blind guides, and if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a pit." But Peter said to him, "Explain the parable to us." And he said, Are you still without understanding? Do you not see that whatever goes into the mouth passes into the stomach and is expelled, but what goes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defiles a person? For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, slander. These are what defile a person, but to eat with unwashed hands does not defile anyone. So remember, the Pharisees are pulling their crap again, where it's all about how things look. It's all about their rules, right? And they've written these add-ons, these rules to what's spoken in the Old Testament, and everything's about status, right? And so and what the disciples were doing is not washing their hands before they ate. Well, that makes them less, right? They're less than the Pharisees. The Pharisees feel high and mighty because they check all these little boxes, right? And Jesus is saying, no, it's not about what we eat that makes somebody defiled. It's about what you speak. It's about how you treat others. It's about how you judge others. And he specifically calls them out for misunderstanding the Old Testament. Misunderstanding, making it be what they want it to be. And he used this little example about how every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be rooted up. That these little add-ons that you've created, they're not going to stay because they're not truth, right? And then he gives this line, which I like: "If the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a pit." So the Pharisees think that they've got everything figured out. They think that they've understand the Old Testament, that they're religious, they're the good people, and in reality their hearts are far from God, right? And when that happens, when you have people that feel like they've got it figured out and are leading others who are lost as well, we see this all the time. People that think that they know God when really they're just serving themselves. And then when they lead other people who are lost, it says both will fall into a pit. You can't have this. I had a girl, very nice girl in college, but you looked at the way she was living her life, it was far from God. She wanted to love God. She liked to go to church, and she liked to call herself Christian, and she wanted to be, but her life was far from it. It was very obvious to me she hadn't really given her life over to Christ. She wanted the reward of being a Christian without the giving of her life. And she came to me one day and she was excited and said that her friend had come and wanted her to lead her to Christ. And I remember that just kind of hit me in the stomach, like, you're not ready for that. Like, you're still blind, you're still lost. We've got work to do in yourself before you're ready to do that. You haven't given your life to Christ yet. And so we've got to be careful that we're being guided by the right people, right? And I think a couple signs that someone is a true believer is obviously the fruit that they produce, right? And if you look at the fruit of the Spirit, but a couple of the best Christians I've ever met are very upfront from the jump about their sin, about the things going on in their life, the things that they've struggled with, because it doesn't have a hold over them anymore, right? When sin has a hold over you, you're hesitant to talk about it. You kind of hide it because you don't want to admit it to other people, and you don't really want to admit the sin to yourself. The best Christians I know are saying, "Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I've dealt with. and they put it out there because it doesn't have a hold over them, right? And because they want to be able to relate to you. So that's one sign for me that if I'm looking for to someone as a mentor, if they're doing that right off the bat, it's typically a good sign for me, and I kind of go from there.